And namaste, everyone. Welcome to your practice. And today's class is designed specifically to nourish your spine. The spine is known to be nature's miracle, and it is the way the brain communicates with the rest of the body through the nervous system. And from a spiritual level, in yoga subtle anatomy, the spine is known to be the container which the Shushumna Nadi, this energy pathway, this energy channel pierces through like a thread at the center of the spine, and it allows your prana, your life force energy, to flow through that energy pathway, through the spinal column. And you might have seen those graphs of the chakra system of a person sitting in Sukhasana or Siddhasana like me, and they have those energy centers, those chakras aligned vertically with the spine, and each chakra governs a certain developmental area in your life, right? The root is connected to your sense of safety, your relationship with your parents, your basic necessities and needs, and so on. The sacral is pleasure, is passion, is sexuality, sensuality. The solar plexus is your power center, your confidence. And the heart is the space of love, space of compassion. The throat is the space of expression. And the third eye, the place of wisdom, knowingness, and intellect. And the crown is the space of inspiration, of the skull, where your new ideas, inspiration, they come from that area. So it's important to nourish the spine. It is, you're only as young as your spine. So I hope you enjoy this practice as much as I will. So we're going to start reclining on our back. So go ahead and recline all the way down on your back. And for a moment, just let's settle into the body. So just Shavasana here, legs are straight. Maybe place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and close your eyes. Add tension inside. And let's take a full and deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. 2 more of these. A full breath in, inhaling that prana, that life force. And then out the mouth, exhale to the very bottom, washing and cleansing the body from the inside. Last one, maybe you sip in a little bit more breath, that medicine. Fill yourself up. And then out the mouth, smooth, long exhale. Feeling a little softer. Allowing more of your natural light to flow back into you. And let's get into that state of flow. Let's just begin with easy breathing here. We're just going to inhale for 4. And hold for 4, and exhale for 4, and hold for 4. And see how gentle you can make this, how soft and smooth. And it's all going to be in and out through the nose. Let's begin. Inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy does it. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay empty, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a full breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Keeping the eyes closed. Feeling this equilibrium that you just created in your body. This sense of harmony between your brain and your heart and your nervous system. That in vagal theory, this is the only time when you breathe in this equal way that all systems of the body are optimized and in full balance. That when you shape your breath, you shape your mind. And when you shape your mind, you shape your life. Because we see the world not through our eyes, we see the world with our mind. And we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. That's what makes this practice so powerful. And from this place, slowly begin to bend your knees, so soles of the feet flat on the mat and your knees are right above your ankles, arms by your side. You're going to lift your hips just a few inches, and if you have a block at the lowest height, or you can use a pillow, you can use a stack of books, you can fold up a towel or a blanket, and just at the lowest height, place that block or prop underneath your sacrum, so the low back, close to your hips, and tuck the tailbone a little bit, and maybe you straighten one leg, maybe you straighten both legs. And you come to a back-bended Shavasana, so maybe you lift your chest and you tuck your shoulder blades a little bit underneath. So you have this openness in the chest and across the collarbone. And just feeling this expansion in the whole front side of your body. And you're getting a very gentle back bend. So this pretty much counters your posture throughout your entire day. If you think about it, most of the time you are in a forward folded position, especially if you have kids and you have to always look down to talk to them, or maybe you're on a computer most of the time, or even driving your car, eating, you're always hunched a little bit forward. And so in this posture, you're doing the opposite. And you're creating a much needed relief for your spine, especially that upper back and the shoulders and the front of the shoulders. So see if you can soften and relax as much as you can. The research has shown actually that if you're doing the pose and it's too intense, it's actually not as effective because you end up bracing yourself. And when you brace yourself, you're restricting blood flow and energy flow. And so in Yin Yoga, less is more. And the more you soften, the more you allow that not only the blood flow to move freely in your body, but also the breath to flow effectively in your body to oxygenate the blood. And also that prana that we talked about, that life force essence that is moving up and down your spine. It's able to move so freely and effortlessly. And so take a moment and scan your body from head to toe and notice if there's any habitual gripping. See if you can send it a signal to soften. Noticing your feet. If there's any fidgeting, see if you can just let them be heavy. The heels just so heavy and sinking down. Any gripping in the hips, any tightness in the hips, see if you can just let that dissolve and soften. Feeling safe in your body, feeling comfortable in your own skin. Softness in the belly. Notice also the area of the chest, which tends to get knotted up. See if you can really relax your chest area. And softening across the collarbone. Noticing any gripping in the hands and the fingertips. See if you can soften the palms, that an open hand is equal to an open heart. And softening that hollow space inside of your throat. Maybe even relaxing your mouth muscles a little bit and softening your tongue back. Parting the upper jaw just slightly from the lower jaw. Relaxing your facial muscles, your eyebrows from temple to temple, so relaxed. And breathing in, you're breathing in, that prana lights up your whole body. Breathing out, you're breathing out, you're moving anything that's not love in your body. Taking one last full breath in and a long breath out. Beginning to bend one knee at a time, soles of the feet flat on the mat. Pause for a beat. And then you lift your hips, press into your heels, and remove that block off of your yoga mat in one vertebra at a time. See how slow you can roll your spine down until your sacrum touches the mat, and tuck your tailbone a little bit so you scoop your pelvis towards your face to counter what you did. Keep the knees bent, bring the knees together, but open your feet a little wider than your hips. Reclining teepee pose, and maybe you place your hands on your frontal hip bones to ground yourself down, allowing the spine to neutralize after that back bend. Come back to the breath. Notice the subtleties of your breath and how it impacts your low back. Just by placing your awareness there and sending the breath there, you create healing. Wherever the mind goes, energy flows. And where you place your conscious awareness, you create energy flow. Beautiful. Now slowly begin to straighten your legs. Reach your arms up and over your head until the backs of your hands rest on the earth beneath you. Find length in the body, and you're going to crawl your feet, both of your feet, to the right corner of your mat with the legs straight. And then lift your chest just an inch off the mat and tilt the whole upper body to the right as well without moving your hips. So you come into this banana shape, what we call banana asana. Hips to the left and then feet and hands to the right. This is option one. You can stay here. Option two, you can grab your left wrist with your right hand and just give it a gentle pull to get deeper into the side body. And maybe lift your left ankle and place it over the right. And notice if that feels too much. What you can do, you can actually bend your left knee so the sole of the left foot is flat. And that relieves a little bit of tension on the left side of your torso, the hip flexor. And so you get to decide for yourself what feels good, what doesn't. You can also just grab opposite elbows and create a frame around your head. That way the shoulders can relax a little bit, remembering that if the pose is intense, that you might be bracing yourself and restricting the breath flow and the energy flow and the blood flow. So you do want something that is sustainable, something that, yes, you're getting a stretch, there is sensation, but not to the point that it takes you out of that flow state, out of that meditation, if you will. This is a meditation, and we're just adding a few stretches in this meditation. So finding that variation that feels good for you. And what we're doing here, we're getting a lateral stretch in the spine. And so we're moving the spine side to side bending. And today we're going to move the spine in all the planes and all the ranges of motion that nature intended it to move. Creating that suppleness, that mobility in the spine, allowing the synovial fluid to lubricate the vertebrae, like oiling up a machine. So you bend instead of breaking. Now, if you have that left ankle on top or that left knee bent, slowly begin to unhook it. And if you have the left wrist or the left elbow, release it and begin to crawl your way back to center and sweep your arms all the way down by your side, back to that Shavasana, back to our hub pose. Take a full breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Take a moment, scan the body, and notice the difference between the right side of your body and the left side of your body. Now we do the same thing on the other side, inhaling both arms, reach up and over the head. This time we're going to crawl your feet to the opposite side. So all the way to the left, and then you lift your chest an inch and you tilt the upper body to the left as well. And take the variation that feels good for you. Maybe you grab the right wrist with the left hand. Maybe you hook the right ankle on top. And maybe this side is a little different and you can do a different variation than what you did on the other side. So we're not built symmetrical completely, and we all have this asymmetrical shape in our body. One side feels a little different. if you're right hand dominant versus left hand dominant, there's always going to be a difference, and that's a good thing and something that we want to actually understand and embrace instead of trying to fix or change. So maybe this side needs something different than the other side. If it's stronger, it needs more flexibility, or if it's more flexible, it needs more strength. And so instead of trying to jam the body into the pose, see if you can understand what your body needs. And it's not one size fits all, and it's not going to look the same on everybody. And taking one last full breath in and a long breath out. Unhooking the ankle, releasing the wrist, and crawl your way back to center, sweeping the arms all the way down by your side. Taking a full breath in and a long breath out. Hug and squeeze your knees into your chest and just give yourself a warm hug here, and press the low back, that lumbar spine, that curve in your spine. See if you can press it down into the earth and rock a little side to side. Should feel pretty good. I like to roll my head also side to side, relaxing the neck. And slowly just roll onto one side into a fetal position, cradle your head, and right away just press yourself up into a seat and swing your legs to one side, coming into a tabletop position. And since this is a spine-focused practice, let's do some cat and cow here. So inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, and hold here for a moment. Let's break this down. Too often in yoga classes, people just move through this really fast. So imagine that you're dragging the skin of your palms into your knees and your knees towards your palms. So you're creating a little bit of traction here, like a magnet. And then drop your belly down and open your chest wide. And your arms are straight without hyperextending, so a micro bend in the elbows, but nobody would even notice if they were looking at you. And then see if you can open your collarbone nice and wide. And notice the back of your heart, so more towards the upper back. Allow it to kind of melt down towards the earth. And now you're going to do the opposite. You're going to round the spine and pause here. Let's break this down. Now you're doing the opposite. You're trying to peel your palms away from your knees and your knees away from your palms. And then you're tucking the tailbone. You're pulling the navel in. And your shoulder blades, those two plates behind your heart, are spreading away from your spine. So roundness in the upper back, and you're tucking your chin towards your chest. And now let's flow this. Inhale, you drop the belly, everything hugs in, belly drops. Exhale, the opposite, everything pushes out and you're rounding the spine. And keep going here, linking that breath with the movement. I like to visualize that prana moving in on an inhale through the back of my throat, down every vertebra of the spine. And on the exhale, it pushes back out from the tailbone all the way up through the back of my neck and through the nostrils. And I kind of give it a color, a white light. So inhaling, that white light pierces through the spine all the way down to the tailbone. And exhaling, that white light pushes out from tail to stem, clearing out those energy channels, those energy pathways, so there's clear communication from all areas in the body, brain to heart to body to nervous system, and also from the environment around you, from the universe. You're receiving very clear information through your sensories. Finish your last round here and come back to neutral spine. If you have two blocks, you can use them. And if you don't, that's okay too. I'm going to show you both ways. So if you have two blocks at the lowest height, at the flattest height, just align them with your shoulders. And you want the space between the blocks to be big enough for your head. And then come onto your elbows on the blocks and bring the hands to prayer. And you're going to melt your heart down until your forehead kind of is between the blocks. And you're going to take the thumbs and you're going to plug them at the back of the neck. And just send your hips up to the sky. So it's like you're in a downward facing dog, but you're on your elbows and you're on your knees. So you do want to pike your hips up to the sky. Now, if you don't have two blocks, you just do the same thing without the blocks. You just come onto the elbows and you bring the hands to prayer and you melt your heart down. And you send your hips up for what we call Anahata Asana. And in this pose, we're opening up the thoracic spine, so more towards the upper and mid back, that area that is usually the rounded area. If you have a hunchback or if you tend to roll your shoulders forward like we talked about early in the practice when you're working or eating, driving. So this is a counter for all that. You're opening the whole front side of the body, you're stretching your triceps, you're even getting a stretch in your armpits, and a lot is happening here. And just breathing in, you're breathing in, breathing out, you're breathing out. And this is a beautiful and very gentle inversion. I love this pose so much because usually your head is above your heart, but now your heart is higher than your head, higher than your brain. And so that blood that the heart is pumping is dripping down to your brain. And from a spiritual perspective, the heart is informing the mind. The yogis believe that the heart is the seat of the soul. It is where your soul lives. So now your soul is higher than your mind. And the soul and the heart, they always know. The heart knows before the mind. The heart is your guiding compass, the space of intuition, your guiding system, your GPS, always guiding you, always protecting you, always telling you what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And sometimes we learn from society to dismiss our heart, but not today, and not in our yoga practice. We allow the heart to shine through everything that we are thinking, saying, and doing.
taking one last full breath in and a long breath out. And from wherever you are, slowly lift your forehead and come onto your hands and just melt your hips all the way down and come into a child's pose. Rest your third eye down into the mat and reach your arms down by your legs so the fingertips are close to the toes. And some roundness in the spine here is so good. So we were just in a back bend or maybe neutralizing the spine. And now we're countering that. We're rounding the spine. So let your hips be heavy and melt down onto your heels. Imagine somebody was pressing their hands on your hips and pressing them down, 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 getting that nice release on the low back. And if your hips can't touch your heels and your forehead can't touch the mat, what you can do is you can grab your blocks or your props and place one block underneath your forehead. You can also place one block between your ankles and sit on it. So that way, what you did, instead of you trying to reach the earth, you invited the earth to rise and meet you. And this way you have that roundness in the spine. And you are in a very unefforted state of being that creates that state of flow. Breathe into the spine. Breathing in, you're breathing in. And breathing out, you're breathing out, nourishing your spine through every breath you take and every breath you release. Beautiful, friends. Slowly lift your forehead off the mat, press into your hand and come into a kneeling position. And go ahead and release your legs out in front of you. And what we're going to do today, you're going to keep your right leg straight and you're going to bend your left knee, slide the sole of the left foot high up the inner edge of your right leg, and make sure that your right toes are pointing straight forward. So the tendency is for the toes to collapse out to the right, and then your hips are in an external rotation. You actually want the hip to be in a neutral rotation, and so the toes need to point up to the sky. Now, you can sit on a block. It really helps to elevate the hips higher than the knee if you're already feeling tension here. And reach your arms up to the sky. Take an inhale and then hinge and fold on an exhale. Maybe you grab your foot. Maybe you just rest your arms by either side of your legs. And you can actually, if you have those props, prop yourself up. Place one block by either side of your knee and rest your elbows down. And just kind of let the head drop and let the shoulder blades melt away from each other. Remembering that we're going for ease today. And so when we work with the spine, we want to feel safe in the back of the body. We don't want to be bracing ourselves or holding our breath. And so maybe taking the more gentle version is more beneficial today. Just allowing the shoulder blades to melt away from the spine. It's like you're dropping the weight of the world off of your shoulders. And it is said that the person of the material world, they buy something every day, they accumulate something every day,
We add on something every day. But the person of the Tao, they let go of something every day. They shed something every day. They drop something every day. And so they become lighter and lighter, and they become more free. And what are you dropping today? What weight are you releasing from your back, from your shoulder, from your spine, that will free up space for more love, more nurture? And after a few moments, maybe the body begins to open up and you can get just a few inches deeper into the pose. See if you can maybe melt your heart just a little bit further down without jarring the body, without jarring the nervous system. Just allowing the body to organically open up into the pose. Allowing gravity to do its thing, allowing your breath to do its thing. And taking one last full breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. And slowly lift your chest up. If you have those props, just move them to the side. Keep what you have with the legs. Take your left hand outside of your left knee and close it like a book so the sole of the foot is flat. And see if you can place your hands on top of your shin and use it to kind of leverage your heart up a little bit so you find length in the spine. Look at your right toes and make sure they're still pointing up to the sky. And take an inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. And on an exhale, you're going to twist. So that right elbow outside of the left knee and then left fingertips behind you. You can bring your thumb and index finger to connect for Gyan Mudra. And if this is too intense, and since today we're doing things a little softer, maybe instead of hooking your right elbow outside of your left knee, you just wrap your right arm and you hug your left knee into your chest. And notice how maybe this feels a little bit better on the low back, especially that left side of the low back as you hug the left knee in. You feel a little bit more contained, and it's also more nurturing. You're giving yourself a hug. You're hugging that left knee like a precious baby, and maybe you look over that left shoulder a little bit, but without cranking your neck. So you want to tuck your chin a little bit closer to your chest so you feel the back of the neck nice and long and the crown of the head is pointing up to the sky. Maybe you close your eyes. And now we're twisting the spine. So we move the spine
We did back bending. We did back bending on the low back and back bending on the upper back. And then we did side stretching, side to side, lateral movements. And we did forward folding, child's pose. And now we're doing twisting. And twisting is so healthy for the spine because what you're doing is you're squeezing the fluid out of the cartilage and the vertebrae of the spine. And when that old fluid is released, the body automatically begins to secrete new fluid. And really, that's the only way that the spine begins to receive fresh new supply. Otherwise, it gets stagnant. So it's kind of like squeezing a sponge, letting go of the old fluid and allowing new fluid to flow into the body and nourish the spine. And that's how you keep your spine supple and young. So see if you can now maybe get a little deeper into the twist now that you've been here for a while. The body is able to get deeper, and squeeze a little bit more like a sponge. And give it one last squeeze here. And then look forward, unravel yourself, and straighten your left leg next to the right leg. And we do the same thing on the other side. You're going to bend your right knee, sole of the right foot, high up the inner edge of your left leg. Your left toes are pointing straight forward. Your hips are neutral. Your chest is facing forward, and you're right above that left leg. If you need to sit on a block, sit on your block. And take an inhale, both arms reach. Exhale, you hinge and you fold. Maybe you grab the foot, maybe you have a strap. I personally am going to take it easy today, and I'm going to place blocks by either side of my knee at the lowest and flattest height. And I'm going to just rest my elbows and my forearms here. And I'm going to drop my head and round the spine. So here we are in a forward fold. See how still you can be. See how gentle you can be. Notice the subtleties of your breath. Without trying to control your breathing, so just notice. When we notice the subtleties of the breath, because it's so subtle, you have to be very still and very calm to notice it. And just by doing this, you begin to strengthen that awareness muscle. And you begin to notice the subtleties not only of your breath, but you begin to expand your awareness and notice the subtleties of everything around you. And as you continue to strengthen this awareness muscle, you begin to realize that every breath you take and every thought that you have and every action that you take has a ripple effect, and it impacts and it creates your reality, the environment around you. And as you continue to master this awareness, you begin to choose actions and thoughts that are in alignment with your natural rhythm. That's how you begin to follow the path of least resistance, and you go with the flow. Like dolphins in the ocean, they just go with the flow. They follow the path of least resistance. They're always jumping and happy. And that's when you realize that you are the creator of your reality. And that there's an easy way to do it. And it all starts with the breath. And eventually you come to the realization that you are one with everything and everyone around you. That's really what yoga is all about, that oneness. The word yoga means to yoke, to unite, to bring together. Your individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. Take one last full breath in and a long breath out. And slowly lift your chest up. If you have those blocks, remove them. Right hand outside of right knee. Spin your knee to point to the ceiling. Sole of the right foot flat on the mat. And just hug your shin a little bit to lift your heart. And we twist to the other side. Maybe you just hug that right knee in. You lift your right arm up. And you drop your right fingertips behind you. You find length in the spine. You close the eyes. At this point of the practice, you're probably in a very different state from when you started. You're no longer thinking about time or how longer is there in this practice. You're no longer thinking about things that are outside of your body. You're fully in the moment. It's just this breath and this breath and this breath. And see if you can just get a little deeper into this twist. And you give it one last squeeze here. Look forward. Unravel yourself and release that right leg next to the left leg. Now stay here in Dandasana. Again, if you need to sit on a block, please sit on a block. Take your arms, reach them up to the sky, and then hinge and fold just a little bit. And we're not going to hold this for too long, but this is such a good release for that low back. So if you do have a strap or a towel or a shirt, maybe you wrap it around the soles of the feet and you give yourself a hug. You can also bend your knees as much as you need to. You can even place blocks underneath your knees. And notice how when you do that, you immediately relieve that tension from the low back and you're able to actually dive deeper. And you feel that stretch of the whole back side of the body. And send the breath all the way down to the low back. And taking one last full breath in and a long breath out. Slowly lifting your chest up. If you have those blocks underneath you, slowly remove them. And take your blocks and place them behind you, like I'm going to do right here. One at the medium height, and it's going to be horizontal in alignment with your spine, and one at the tallest height that you're going to use as a pillow. So align this, and we're going to do this last back bend before we come to Shavasana. And this is one of the sweetest poses. So take that block, and you want to make sure that it's right underneath your shoulder blade. So the back of the heart, for the ladies, that's the bra line. So more towards the upper back. You don't want it at your waistline. You want it a little bit higher. And then the tall block you're going to use at the like a pillow at the nape of your neck, so where the end of your skull meets your neck. Once you have that, you can bring the soles of your feet together and open your knees wide and open your arms wide as well. So you feel this broadness, this openness in your chest. If it's too much to keep your knees open like this, you can actually just straighten your legs all the way down if that's more comfortable for you. So there are different variations that you can take. So what matters is that you really feel this back bend, this supported back bend. It's very gentle and subtle thing. Feel free to make any adjustments if you need to. You want to tuck the shoulder blades underneath a little bit and puff the chest up. And this pose is medicine. Medicine not only for the spine, but also for your heart and for your lungs. So now that the ribs are flared open in this way, the rib cage is not pressing into the lungs, so there's no restriction for the breath. So you're actually able to breathe more fully, and the lungs inflate like a balloon when you inhale. And then they deflate when you exhale. So take advantage of all this space across the chest. And this breath massages the body from the inside and allows the heart to be more fluid and feel safe and rejuvenated. So it's not working extra hard for you to pump that blood into your body. And so when you take care of your body will take care of you. And this is a relationship, a nurturing, loving, and caring relationship that you have with your body. Breathing in, you're breathing in. You're breathing out, you're breathing out. And slowly begin to tuck your chin into your chest and press into your elbows and just slowly remove those blocks from underneath you as we set up for Shavasana, your final pose. And if you actually want to take those blocks and place them underneath your knees for supported Shavasana, that should feel also good on the low back, since this is all about the spine today. Extending your arms by your side. And taking one last full breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Shavasana. Feeling the yoga that you just did, specifically in your spine. So bringing your awareness to the back of your body. That actually, one of the signs of anxiety or worry is that your energy tends to be at the front side of your body and even a little bit outside of your body. You hear that saying when someone says, you're a little bit ahead of yourself. So see if you can bring your awareness to the back of your body, feeling safe in your spine, feeling safe and supported in the back of your body. As if Mother Earth was hugging you, nurturing you. Just feeling gravity grounding you, nurturing your spine, nurturing your whole body. You can stay here as long as you need to. And officially, this practice is complete. If you want to come up, slowly begin to wiggle the toes and wiggle the fingers. And roll your head a little side to side. And bend your knees. Maybe brush those blocks a little bit off your mat and hug your knees into your chest. Rolling on to your left, which is the yin side of your body, cradling your head and just holding yourself in this very nurturing way, just for a beat. Press into your hand and gently guide yourself up into a very easy and comfortable seated posture. Just closing your practice by floating your two palms together to connect right in front of your heart. Giving gratitude to this practice, giving gratitude for your spine, for your health, and for your well-being. Bowing your chin to your chest. Namaste. Much love, much gratitude. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for trusting me with your practice. Again, my name is Maha, and I'm here every other Sunday live with you.